Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. If you could please hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. It helps to build the channel, and I do need that help because I do this for free, and it takes a lot of work, and I have been struggling in many different ways. I had to say goodbye to one of the loves of my life, my 97-year-old Swami, tomorrow. He's still alive, but he's definitely not here much longer. And we've talked about the fact that Neptune is at the final degree of the zodiac. It's 3 minutes away. It's stationed, I believe, 3 minutes away from the last degree and minute of the zodiac. And for those that are ready to pass over, that have had it, and he is obviously very old, we're going to see a lot of people passing over now. And for those that are younger, that are dealing with mental health issues and addiction and depression, that's a different story. We really have to check in on those people. Swami's ready. He told us very clearly, hit me hard on the side. He's done. He said, have some compassion. Would you want to feel like this? And he's right. And I have to wrap my head around that. I feel very much like Neptune. You probably haven't seen me on much lately. I haven't been posting. I have Neptune squaring my ascendant, and so I'm understanding the vibration. I know Neptune cycles. They're my least favorite of the transits, of the outer planets, because Pluto transits can have very dramatic and psychological cycles, but you eliminate things that aren't serving you, and it helps you to empower yourself if you're releasing things you need to release. Saturn cycles can feel very pressured. Both can bring a lot of death or challenges, sometimes health issues with Saturn cycles, or just very karmic lessons that rear their head. However, if you admonish the lessons of Saturn, you can build something, you can learn, you can anchor a goal or a dream. Neptune can be very spiritual and psychic and all of that, but you can go through a challenging Neptune cycle and go through a lot of loss and depression and deception. It can definitely involve a lot of deception, delusion, things just getting washed away, literally eroding and just washing off. And there isn't always a lesson. Sometimes the lesson is that you have to surrender, but it's not like if you work hard, oh, well, the good part of Neptune is you can manifest, you can dream. It's highly creative. It's the higher octave of Venus. In the purest form, it's compassionate, selfless love. In the more challenging form, it's escapism. It is con artist. It is people trying to screw you over. And, many of us, as I said earlier on, we just had both Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Saturn retrograded on, I think it was June 28th. I'm not even going to go to the facts. There are no facts on this energy right now. We're going to have to suspend disbelief and go with it, right? There are facts, but we don't have to be so my moon and Virgo to the minute, okay? So it was June 28th. We feel it 5 days before and 5 days after. Neptune, which rules Pisces, Saturn in Pisces is a joke. Saturn is structure. Neptune is amorphous. Neptune rules Pisces in modern astrology. Neptune is the dream. It's imagination. It's the subconscious mind. Neptune retrograded on July 2nd at the final degree of the zodiac in the sign of Pisces, which it rules. We feel that 5 days before and 5 days after. With any outer planet, whether it stations direct or retrograde, we're feeling that build up in intensity for about 10 days, 5 days before, 5 days afterwards, and it also augments and exaggerates the qualities of that planet. So with Saturn, we were feeling pressured. We were feeling restricted. Some were saying they were working a lot and being very productive, although most people were telling me they felt really stressed. And then with Neptune, very different energy. People feel very tired. They could feel like wanting to escape. For people that have depression issues, this is very tough. And in the case of my friend Swami, he is 97 years old. He said goodbye to me. That's the last time I will see him. And he wants to go. That's also Neptune. And it's in that he's had it, his body's had it, and he wants to reconnect with his wife. And that's he should have that. It's now at a point where it would be selfish of us not to want him to. I think somebody like Swami, my cat, well, very different, but my cat, Billy, lived to be 17. I never had a cat live to be 17, at most 13. Swami's 97. He outlived my parents for about 30 years. So they become almost supernatural to me because you start to think they'll never leave us. And, you know, I'm really lucky to have Swami. I'm really lucky that I had Billy for years. And it's sad, but many of you have lost really young, vibrant people. And I have too, actually, in the last 4 years, that still wanted to be here and for whatever reason could not stay. Whether a myriad of reasons we won't go into, and many businesses and dreams that are just now forgotten. Many people won't even know them. They were never realized. And we have to focus on the dream, but know that there's a lot of Venusian energy this week. Venus is at the last degrees of Cancer. It's going to form a trine, which is a very positive angle to Neptune, and that's when they're 120 degrees apart. That is on Thursday, which would be the 11th at, let's see, when would that be? At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Venus changes signs at 12:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and enters the sign of Leo, where it will be through August 4th. And with Venus in Leo, it then proceeds to form an opposition to Pluto. And that will happen on the first, sorry, not the first, on Thursday. No, I guess it is on Friday. They form an opposition at 1 degree and 7 minutes of Leo and Aquarius. And this emphasizes the fact that Pluto entered Aquarius initially last March, but it's teetering back and forth because remember, it does return to Capricorn at the very beginning of September, on the 1st of September, Labor Day weekend. It'll be there through November 19th. Then we're done with that story, but we're on the edges back and forth. We're kind of, going back and forth, the very first degrees of Aquarius and now the final degree of Capricorn. That's about rules and regulations, structures coming down permanently, old ways of doing things. Maybe they've been lingering. Now they're just going to get, they're going to get eliminated, and a lot around control, a lot around governments and people in authority, and we don't need to talk about that, but we're certainly very conscious of that in the United States where I live, obviously, and certainly in the world, because it's not just the United States, and I know we often act like that. It's the world, and it's going to be intense. And we also have this summer, which is an anomaly. We had a full moon in Capricorn on June 21st, which is the day after the solstice. It was at 1 degree and 7 minutes of Capricorn, the very early degree of Capricorn, which defaults back to when Pluto was early on in the Pluto in Capricorn story. And that would have been approximately 2009, 2010 when because Pluto entered Capricorn originally 0809. So going back to the very beginning of the story, when we did have the financial collapse and many things in our lives came down, there was a lot of change. And then now we have Pluto going to the final degree of Capricorn. There will be a second full moon in Capricorn on July 21st at the last degree of Capricorn, 29 degrees, emphasizing that we are not done with Pluto. There's a lot Pluto is very psychological. It can be violent at times. It's the higher octave of Mars. It can involve intense anger. If you know any Scorpios, and don't look at the one in the hat. Some Scorpios can, once you piss them off, they can get very volatile because Mars also rules Scorpio. So you've got this Plutonian energy at play. That Venus opposition to Pluto this weekend will bring breakups inevitably. There will definitely be breakups with Pluto opposite Venus or Venus opposite Pluto. But we're also over the weekend building to a Mars-Uranus conjunction that occurs on Monday, which would be the 15th. And on that date, that's a very volatile energy. We feel both planets before they become exact. Whenever Mars is either hitting your chart or forming an aspect, Mars rushes in. We feel it a day or two before. The same with Uranus. Uranus you feel before it's exact. The two are meeting up in the sky, and that can be explosive energy. It can be innovative, but it's so unstable. Uranus is the opposite of Saturn, even though both rule Aquarius. Uranus is very volatile, unstable, and unpredictable. So that can be where people really lose their tempers, and we are in a very hot summer, which often things happen anyway. And so you've got that Venus opposite Pluto, breakups, turning points, could be layoffs, could be people getting fired. And then we have the Mars-Uranus conjunction. What do we do with all of this? Well, we're trying to re-examine now that Saturn's retrograde in Capricorn, wishful thinking, and Pisces. How can we anchor that dream? Neptune at the last degree of Pisces. Well, we're in Cancer season a while longer. Venus will change signs, so it's going to leave Cancer on July 11th, as I mentioned, and then proceed to oppose Pluto. And it'll be there for a while. Venus in Leo is fun, okay? But being between full moons, and 2 full moons in Cancer Capricorn is a big deal, because that's the reality sign. Cancer's about your emotions. Capricorn's about practicality. What do you need to let go to find value or to earn money? Maybe you've got to work more. Maybe you are a creative person, but you got to get a side job. You've been resisting because you thought your career would pick up, and it still hasn't, and the writing's on the wall. Maybe you have to get out of your field for a while, and unfortunately. Maybe you've got a family, and the reality is you've got to bring home a living. Whatever it is, don't give up on dreams, but we're being told, all of us, to focus on reality. And it's a lot around emotions, because 2 full moons, but in a very cold sign, in terms of a full moon, because lunar energy doesn't go well with Capricorn. The moon is in its detriment in Capricorn, right? Because it rules the opposite sign of Cancer. I have rambled. I didn't even know I'd do a video, but I want to let you know I'm offering a reading special, 30 minutes for $30, which I record and send afterwards, $60 for 60 minutes, which I also record and send afterwards. You want to work with this energy. We're going to have Mars retrograde in the beginning of December. We have Pluto going back into Capricorn, which is, there will be more layoffs. There will be more shifts. We're obviously in the United States in an election year. But you want to focus on your goals in the chaos. And, there will definitely be chaos this weekend. I'm not being doom and gloom. There could be innovative energy. Some people might get hired unexpectedly for a project, and it might be incredibly brilliant. Maybe they're working a lot of hours, but it could be exciting. But be careful on the road. Mars rules engines. Both Mars and Uranus can involve accidents, so be extra careful. And figure out what you want to release to find your joy, because this again is not doom and gloom. But if it's pouring outside and you're wearing if you're wearing cashmere, or if you're wearing suede, I don't think you're going to wear it outside. So you want to know what's happening. Good luck and take care.